What we are becoming is the incarceration nation, if we are not already.
Yeah, we need sentencing reform, humane and just sentencing reform.
Baseball is only time 3 strikes should be out. The game of life is not for 3 strikes.
No 3 strikes! No 3 strikes! No 3 strikes! No 3 strikes!
The challenge with this bill, with the 3 strikes in particular, is we're concerned that it is way too broad. It risks sweeping a lot of people in for mandatory maximum sentences, in many cases without the possibility of parole, which risks sweeping a lot of people in that nobody would intend to, which will increase our prison population enormously, and we can't afford to do something like that here.
We do not support crime. That's not the point. But we do know that the community that I work on is going to be affected. I do know people who have changed their lives and people who are great people right now, excellent parents right now, and who contribute to the communities. And these are the people that, if this law had happened before and had passed before, they would have been affected greatly.
I'm here to tell you that if this had all been in effect 12, 15 years ago, I would have been doing the maximum time in prison for the 3 strikes, you know, and I had 4 children. So a little bit about my life is I come from a normal family. My greatest ambitions was not to grow up to become an addict and an offender. I wanted to have a nice life like everybody else, but things happen. I was a victim of domestic violence, and I didn't know how to get out of that kind of situation. I come from an era where when you got married, you made your bed, you laid in it, you know? Your mama didn't want to hear you say you're coming home with the kids, because that wasn't happening. You know, so what happened was I eventually got addicted to drugs, and when my husband went to prison, I had to fend for myself and find my own drugs. And that's how I got arrested. The lowest point of my life came the day my mother showed up at the door, and she was with my sister, and she said, "You need to do something with your life. I don't care what, but I'm taking your kids." And that was the best thing she could have ever have done for me. You know, I had done a year in prison, and when I came out, I still was a mess, an absolute mess. So I went to treatment, and I got out of treatment. I got my kids back. That was my first priority, you know. I was able to get through school. I received an associate's degree in business administration in 2004. But my biggest pride is to tell you that because of my past mistakes and because of rehabilitation that was available to me, and I had not been sentenced to 10 years in prison, I was fortunate enough to raise 5 terrific children, okay? And so instead of the state taking my children and placing them in foster care, which most likely could have led to 5 future offenders, you know, I was lucky enough by the grace of God to have 2 sons who are 2 combat veterans. They've served both in Iraq and in Afghanistan, and I am so proud of them because they love their country just like I do. I have a daughter who's a nurse, and 2 of my youngest daughters are your children's future teachers. You know, we're going to put an end to this 3 strikes bill.
When there are people who are evil enough to take someone else's life, that's not the same thing as somebody who's making bad decisions and running with the wrong crowd. And we shouldn't treat them the same way. And I believe in a state and I believe in a justice system that understands the difference.
Audio Jungle.